Hey guys, MeLikeBigBoom here, and today we're going to be talking about Unturned 3.13.0, the progress report for it, and what's been going on behind the scenes with Unturned. Now in the past two updates we've been receiving new content and new vehicles, many of which don't even spawn in PI, and that's because a new map is coming. That's what Nelson has been working on and adding content for. It is an American state map, and that state has been undecided, but essentially in today's little progress report, because the map isn't done yet, Nelson kind of gets us up to speed with what's been going on, what this map is going to be, and most importantly asking a lot of questions as to what kind of changes we want to see in this new map and what kind of changes we want to see in the current maps we have, PI and Yukon. Now reading off of his little progress report in general, his idea for these three different maps is to split Unturned into kind of three different playstyles. This was all suggested by the community and was highly upvoted, so Nelson decided to go with this. I think it's awesome. Essentially these three different playstyles are hardcore PvE, which is Yukon, PvE, which is going to be PI, and PvP, which is going to be the American state map. Now, currently, yeah, technically you can play PvP on Yukon, but Yukon's main objective was to be a hardcore PvE map. You run in there, you got to deal with temperatures, you got to get clothes, there's all sorts of different animals for you to hunt. It's a lot more zombies that you have to deal with. It's always blizzardy, so you can't really see very far, so it's not very often that you're going to get sniped. It really is just a hardcore survival experience. PI currently is a lot more PvP oriented because you just find a lot of guns and stuff like that, but going on from here on out, he's trying to move that more towards just an all-around PvE experience by removing player spawn points from military bases and moving the police checkpoint from that little road that goes to the airport, moving that just to the airport itself, reducing the spawn rates of guns and ammunition, and getting rid of those super, like the crashed helicopter at Montague and the submarine and the Scorpion 7. Those will all be moved over to the American map to make it, the American state map more PvP oriented. In PI, just kind of a mixture between both hardcore survival and a little bit of PvP. Now in the end, essentially here is kind of how everything is going to be laid out. There's going to be the Yukon map, which currently for 3.13 at least, Nelson doesn't have any planned changes for it, though he does agree that it would be nice to expand upon the temperature system beyond just like simply wearing clothes to make yourself not freeze to death. But essentially that won't be changed, though he asks what kind of changes you would like to see to make it more difficult to survive on for the hardcore survival playstyle people. PI is going to go through some pretty big changes in that it's going to be toned down to be less of just a PvP shooting fest. Now it's not going to be like a hardcore survival like the Yukon map, but you know, like how you go to the military base and you come out with like 4 different maple strikes. That's not going to happen anymore. Guns are going to be a lot more rare, and it's just going to be a lot less of a PvP oriented experience on that in terms of multiplayer. The American state map, which is coming out, is going to be that PvP experience that we currently have on PI, if not a little bit more. It's going to be bigger in land area. I think it's going to be the same like map size as PI, but you know, PI is like what, 50% water, and the American state's pretty much all land. So there's going to be a whole lot of stuff to build bases up in the mountains and stuff like that, and most importantly, there's just going to be military everywhere. As he said, there's going to be many more fortified locations, like an evacuation zone constructed by the military, destroyed military convoys, military encampments to protect the populace. So lots of military stuff. You're going to find a lot more guns on that map, and it's also going to be a little bit bigger, so it's going to be a nice mixture. And really, I honestly think it's just going to be what we have as PI right now. I think that's super excited. I'm really happy with the PvP experience on PI right now. But it also has some cool locations to visit that are just fun, like a racetrack for fast vehicles, like those new race cars that we got in last week's update, and then a golf course, which is fantastic for building bases because it's just so flat, and stuff like that. It's going to be super cool. So he also asked what sort of things he would like to see in that map. Anything in particular in terms of locations or guidelines that you want to be in that map. Also any content additions that would fit well. So anything in specific. I know there's like the golf course and the racetrack, but is there anything else in addition to that that you'd like to see? And lastly, he finishes off saying that if we're lucky, that map will be ready for next Friday, which is the 18th of September, but there's still a lot to do. So if that's not the case, he will post another progress report to let us know how everything's coming along. But right now, he was really asking for questions as to how all of this stuff is going to be changed. What kind of changes would you like to see in PEI? What kind of changes would you like to see in Yukon? And what kind of things would you like to see in the upcoming American state map? Now, just overall, it's important to understand that the playstyles that we're looking for is PvP oriented for the American state map, and all around general PvE and PvP on PEI. That's going to be your mid-range decent map, and then Yukon for the hardcore survival. It may be a little bit sad to see some of the military and our guns leaving PEI, but just make sure that that playstyle is just shifting on over to the American state map. Anyway, so just comment all your suggestions down below in the comments section. I'd love to see what kind of things you are asking about. But anyway, that pretty much wraps up this week's progress report. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and do all that gibberish, because MeLikeBigBoom is out.